Well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And before we get started, I'd like just to go over some formalities of our legal disclaimers and forward-looking statements. Our presentations, you could find them on our website, certainly. Andean is primarily about transformational growth. We have 4 pillars that conform that transformational story for Andean. The first one is we are a company with a very strong balance sheet. We're pursuing an organic growth within Bolivia. That's where our current flagship manufacturing facility is located, the San Bartolomé processing plant. We also have an aggressive mandate for M&A, and we have a debt-free balance sheet, roughly around $90 million US, no warrants, no debts, no royalties. We're certainly squeaky clean balance sheet. Bolivia, as a jurisdiction in the mining, it's been a mining jurisdiction for more than 500 years. The Cerro Rico area, which is basically where our plant is located, has been mined for more than 500 years, actually, and it was actually the flagship of the Spaniards' colonializations back in the 1500s. The Cerro Rico has produced hundreds of millions, and people have said even over 1 billion ounces of silver throughout its history. It is ranked as the 8th largest silver producer, and it's also the 6th largest tin producer in the world. They have a very strong mining culture, very strong mining workforce, and even families that have been in the industry for generations. Our plant is located at the outskirts of the Cerro Rico, about 15 kilometers away from the city of Potosí, which is an important city of approximately 280,000 people. We are in the business of actually processing our own resources, which are 43101 compliant resources, but we also acquire, purchase, not tolling, purchase, straightforward purchases of ore from other sources as listed in this chart. And we blend them in order to get high grade, super high grade materials together with our lower grade material, 43101 resources. As we all know, we believe tin and silver, so I will be speaking about tin shortly, but primarily silver, we believe it's one of the right metals going forward. Not only it's considered a green metal, but we believe demand for it's going to be quite strong going forward, not only as a storage of wealth, but also as industrial utilization, so it's becoming more increasingly demanded. We recently found tin in our tailings dams, both in our fine deposit facility and our dry stack facility. We are surveying them, analyzing them, and making a study as to the feasibility of finding a financially feasible way of recuperating that tin. And we're in the process of doing that. We have disclosed to the market, so our press releases the content in an inferred basis of how much metal it's in there in our facilities. This is an aerial picture of our plant. It has a 1.7 million tons per annum capacity, roughly approximately 5,500 tons per day. It was built by Core Mining and commissioned at the later part of 2008 for approximately an investment back then of approximately $180 million. In today's numbers, the replacement value of this facility would certainly be north of 300 million approximately. It is a very reliable and consistent plant. It has been producing for more than almost 14 years, roughly between 5 and 5.5 million ounces of silver constantly and reliably. We have a track record of having a very strong balance sheet. During the years of 2020 and 2021, as it is expressed in the chart, we have produced just those 2 years, roughly 65 million of free cash flow in our year, and that's where most of our balance sheet comes from. In the current year, we have revised guidance. We will be producing close between 5 and 5.3 million ounces. And certainly we believe also with the information that we have up to date that we're also going to be cash flow positive. For those of you who have gotten the opportunity to review our third quarter financials, we have the ability to generate free cash flow, but in this particular quarter, we have generated a loss, and that loss basically gets accrued for primarily two reasons. One is we have, as I expressed, we have a very aggressive M&A mandate, so we've been spending significant amount of money in lawyers, accountants, consultants, technicians, on doing due diligence on potential assets that we're looking for on the M&A target and acquisition side. We believe there is a market right now. The market opportunity currently is a window whereby for companies like us who have had the blessing of having a strong balance sheet, we could probably be looking into assets that can be production, cash flow generation, and accretive to our shareholders. The second reason why we're also showing a loss, and it's because we're also expensing our exploration expenses as well. And that gets me to the next one, is this, the growth potential that we've got in Bolivia. We're definitely looking forward to expand the life of mine of the San Bartolomé facility by twofold avenues. One is to request new mining rights from the government in Bolivia. The second one is to continue our purchases programs with private parties and cooperatives and our stakeholders currently in the community. We also have, and that's number three, a gold exploration project, which is called San Pablo. That's where we're spending some of our resources into finding. We found a porphyry there. We're cautiously optimistic, but we're drilling and studying that porphyry. And in addition to that, as I have expressed, we've got a low-grade tin in our tailings dam that is roughly approximately 43 grams per ton, but we have also found tin on it, and we're making a study. We're looking for a financial feasible way to see if a gravity circuit can be achieved to recoup the tin. It's an interesting metal to start getting our hands on. Bolivia has a lot of tin deposits, and it might be, depending upon how we go on the studies, another metal in which we could probably be getting involved. The growth on extending the life of mine in San Bart is primarily focused on our 43101 compliant resources together with our purchases from third-party sources, the feasibility that we intend to do on the study on the tailings dams, and in addition to more contracts, mining rights from the government, or another potential growth on acquiring some deposits there. Our aggressive M&A mandate, it's mostly focused on the wider Americas. We're looking into properties that are in primarily the silver, gold, and with some cases byproduct in zinc or copper. We're looking, as I said, Bolivia and the wider Americas with a focus on Mexico and Peru. We're looking at companies that have a life of mine of not less than 6 years with a production targets of roughly around our size. Let's call it 4 to 6 million ounces a year, silver equivalent, with an all-in sustainable cost of give or take an averaging of approximately $14 to $15 an ounce. But this is more or less an indicative criteria that we can say we're looking into it. We're also looking at some other assets that we've been offered to us in the United States. There has been an opportunity. We're trying to be opportunistic in that front based on the current market conditions. Our capital structure and our balance sheet, as I expressed, we thankfully have a very clean balance sheet, significant cash resources, north of $90 million US, and we believe our market capitalization is not showing currently, which is an opportunity for those interested to invest in our company, as our market cap doesn't even matches our cash reserves. Our company is closely held by insiders. We have more than skin in the game, which is actually hoping to be seen as an insurance for all the investors coming in, that we're trying to be accretive for the benefit of all the shareholders, including the same insiders, which we hold a significant portion of the company, and we're trying to be accretive not just for us, but for the entire shareholder base of our company. We have a very high standards ESG programs whereby we are taking care of the communities where we work on, not only with respect of sharing on a contract basis. We sometimes give the communities the contracts for moving and trucking the ore that we purchase from those communities. We as well support schools, support training, support sports and educational in the community. We even have sponsored an artificial lake in one of the communities where we're sponsoring. They're now breeding rainbow trouts, which after several years of breeding, they have become knowledgeable on how to breed and grow rainbow trouts, which they're selling into the La Paz market. We believe that the milestones and the balance sheet that we've had is giving us a strong platform for growth. This is the cornerstone of what we believe it's our transformational growth going forward. We've got an exploration project. We've got additional oxides that we're seeking to extend the life of mine of our facility. We have potential transactions on the pipeline on the M&A side that we're seriously considering. Part of that is the reason why we're spending some of our cash and pursuing those opportunities. Plus, we're also doing the mine expansion study in our tailings dam in the San Bartolomé facility. We're pretty short on time, so I want to thank everyone for your attention, and I'll happily answer any questions that anybody may have. Thank you.